Welcome back. So let's check on the education sector with specific focus on the impact of artificial intelligence with developments in Nigerian schools. And joining us for this conversation is someone who is very active in that space. He is Faiz Bashir, the CEO, Flexisaf Edusoft Limited, who joins us virtually from London. Faiz, good morning and welcome to the Diaspora Connect segment on the Morning Brief. Hello Faiz, can you hear me? Hello Faiz. All right, we'll try to get Faiz as soon as possible. Hello Faiz, I believe you can hear me now.
Hello Bukola.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us on the program. So let's start with what you do at Flexisaf Edusoft. How did you chance upon artificial intelligence for education? And talk to us about some of your tools at Flexisaf Edusoft.
Thanks once again for having me. At Flexisaf, we focus on using technology to transform education. Over the past decade, we've been working with schools and providing tools for students to make that happen. But very recently, as you are all aware, AI is really changing that narrative and making it even more possible to use technology to transform education. At Flexisaf, we've started about 2 years ago investing in AI to provide platform that customize and build curriculum-based content for students to help them adapt to their learning needs and be able to, to fill in the gaps of access to quality content, quality education. So far, we've been working with hundreds of universities. Over 100,000 students across Nigerian universities use this platform. They access content based on NUC to help them learn better.
So when it comes to artificial intelligence, we hear tools like ChatGPT, Chatbot AI, Khan, Duolingo. Paint a canvas for us about how these learning tools is revolutionizing the learning process and eliminating the old forms of learning within the communities where your work is taking place.
To put this into context, about 2 weeks ago, a question was asked to Bill Gates that if he would choose one key transformation of AI that he is excited about, what would that be? And he said it's education. And in 1948, UN declared that education is right to everyone. And this is emphasized in SDG 4, where it emphasized equitable and inclusive quality education and promotes lifelong learning. But this has never been really possible in the history of mankind until now with AI. And what AI is able to do is that it's now possible to have this one-on-one tutor that really understands you, understands your strengths, your weaknesses, your pace of learning, your interest, and is able to personalize learning for that individual. That was not possible, or is not possible in the traditional classroom setting, and also the challenge of teacher to student ratio, where you have the best practice is less than 30, but we all know the challenge where it could be up to 1 to even 100. And for the first time, AI is making this possible, that you will have this one-to-one tutor, a tutor that extremely understands you, is able to tailor, your own learning needs and unlock your potential.
Amazing. And I believe there's so many benefits to that in terms of learning outcomes. But what about affordability where ed tech is concerned, or artificial intelligence, as the case may be. You talked about inclusive education earlier on. I imagine there are many communities in the hinterland, in the far-flung areas where these tools are not available. And perhaps in the coming years, they may have to now be playing catch-up, where their peers have advanced. What concerns do you have in that regard, and what are your recommendations, for those who can provide immediate intervention as far as that is concerned?
And again, for the first time, AI is going to make it possible to democratize education. In terms of affordability, the best analogy is telecoms. Before GSM, having access to mobile phone is quite expensive and just for a few. But because of the advancement of technology, the competition and so on, this drives down the cost of access to technology. The same thing with AI. AI is the fastest growing technology in the history of the world. And the competition, you've seen what has been happening recently with DeepSeek in China, OpenAI, Google, and so on. So it's really driving down the barrier to access. It's just like smartphones today, tools like WhatsApp is becoming a household utility. And that's where we are heading to when it comes to AI. This thing is going to become more affordable, and it's going to help drive access to education. So in terms of what we can do to even fast track this, of course, the basic infrastructure is still important. Just like Andrew Ng, one of the professor at Stanford in AI, says AI is the new electricity. And that's where we are heading to. So we need to invest in the infrastructure early, solve the challenges of power, internet, and of course, build capacity and awareness across AI.
Of course, there's so much more to talk about. We could talk about the privacy for individual student learners and, the challenges that you are encountering in the communities where you are. But we must anchor at this point so that we can, get on to other conversations. But you are our man now when we want to look at issues with AI and education. Thank you so much for your time, Faiz Bashir. He is the CEO of Flexisaf Edusoft Limited, who has joined us on our Diaspora Connect segment of this program. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And from here, we'll bring you another interesting conversation. This time, it's one of your favorites, content creation, but with specific focus on the ease of doing business in this particular area. So stay with us, you might learn a thing or two. We'll be right back.